tons of conspiracies surrounding the music industry just like Hollywood. And not only fans believe that Diddy has something to do with Biggie's death, but Biggie's mother is likely believing those accusations as well. So is Diddy really behind all these? Why is no one speaking up? There are a lot of speculations going around about Big's death because it was very timely and people believe that it was not just a simple drive-by shooting. If you can still remember, and people surely would not forget these matters easily, just 6 months earlier, Tupac Shakur also lost his life in his car because of a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. Christopher Wallace is Biggie's real name. What's more puzzling about the incident that happened to him is that it occurred just a week and a half before the launch of his new album. The album was coincidentally titled Life After Death. Was it really a coincidence though? During his time, Wallace was a very known East Coast practitioner of gangsta rap. Many would remember his songs that talked about the violent side of street life. He always had a lot to share and fans loved him for that. On Biggie's 20th death anniversary, his mother did not only remember and honor him, but she surely made people interested again in this case because of some information that she dropped. According to one of Valletta's interviews, the death of her only son would forever hurt her every day of her life, especially that the person responsible for taking away his life was still walking freely until now. She stated, "I have a very good idea who murdered Christopher, and I genuinely believe that the LAPD know exactly who did too. They've done their investigation, but they just refuse to move forward. It is still a big mystery even though 2 decades have passed already." Valletta added, "I don't know why they haven't arrested who was involved. It seems to me that it's one giant conspiracy and someone is definitely being protected somewhere down the line. There's no closure for me until that murderer is behind bars and sentenced." Many people are still hoping that Notorious Big's mother would still get justice for him and for her peace as well. Those years must have been tormenting for her, but she's not the only family member who's suffering from the situation. The renowned rapper's wife, Faith Evans, has the same theory as Valletta. They truly believe that Big was murdered and that the person responsible for this incident is not yet paying for what he did. Also, you might know about Gene Deal as he was a former bodyguard to P. Diddy. Even Big Gene got something to say about the case, and what he said was very relevant to Big's death. According to reports, the police told Miss Wallace to ask Gene Deal. Gene's frat brother was the reason why Miss Wallace and Gene were actually able to meet. When Miss Wallace asked Puffy about Gene Deal, they said that he doesn't know him right away. That's already suspicious right there. There are a lot of opinions about the incident, but some very important people have said their piece as well. Even Kirk Burroughs, the former president of the Bad Boy Record, has something to say. According to Kirk, Big was supposed to have a journalist meet and greet. Many were actually shocked when Big's London concert was cancelled. Because the show was not pushed through, many people immediately speculated about something. They insisted that Big was supposed to go to London, but then Diddy kept him in the same place where he died. Many theories are actually pointing out to Diddy and how he planned this out after Tupac's death. Gene's interview, what he heard when he was still working for Diddy, just made these accusations stronger. But those were still not enough to argue this back in the court. Some fans were saying that Diddy must have done that just so he could take over Biggie's record label. Besides, the officials responsible for unraveling the truth in Big's case only told Big's mother to ask Gene Deal what happened that night. But before we get deeper into the video, if you're a fan of the Notorious Big and want to see more videos about what really happened and why he died, then make sure that you subscribe to our channel right away. I will always keep you on the loop about the latest happenings about these people and more.
We get out, Puff pull out first. We pull out behind him. He blow past the light. We stopped at the light. When we stopped at the light, I see some chicks on the curb. Before you know it, a car just rolled up, start popping in the car. Just pop, 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 pop. Everybody got down in the truck. So that shit stopped. You know, we all hopped out. Everybody door open but Big door.
Something gotta change. I don't give a if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died. It's been over 25 years. Clearly, a Biggie Smalls verse is very valuable. So then what happened to the commission? What happened to that album?
Now, going back to our video, Gene said that he had an agreement with Diddy and that Puff must have told Valletta that he does not know any Gene deal because he was afraid that Gene would tell her everything that he knows. To solidify these accusations even more, Gene stated that he was suspecting something already with Diddy. According to Gene's story, when the incident happened, Diddy grabbed both of his arms and told him, "Gene, we got to pray." The guilt must have been eating him alive. But even though this was the last encounter that Gene had with Diddy, it never stopped him from giving some clarity and information about what really happened to Biggie. The Bad Boy members even talked about how Biggie is not really interested in attending that party and wouldn't have gone there if Diddy did not convince him. Gene really has some interesting stories to tell, especially that he was the one who witnessed a lot of things. He was always with them, so fans really believe the things that he said. He added that if anyone's going to plan something bad and big, then that party would be the best place to do that. Gene said, "I told your driver Kenny to run the next 3 lights. Kenny ran the light. Big stopped at the light. Big got killed." Running the light was already suspicious, but putting the car in park says something more. Also, Gene said that it was suspicious that Big's car stopped at the light because he stated that it's a common gang rule that if there is more than one car, it would always follow the leader. If the first car ran the light, all the other cars with them should run the light as well. He got more to say because he was apparently interviewed by the law enforcers and he said that he immediately recognized the man in the picture, but they never got back and talked to Gene again. This story of Gene seeing the picture of the guy who walked up to the car was backed up by the FBI. This made more people believe in Gene's accusations and stories. Besides, why would he even lie, right? There would be no point in doing that, especially when Big is already dead and he was not working for Diddy anymore. What conspiracy have you heard about Big and Tupac's death already? Do you think that Diddy was responsible for Big's life? I would love to know, so comment your thoughts down below. The FBI agent involved in Biggie's case asked about this picture from the LAPD that was shown to Gene. What is more skeptical is that the picture is not in their file anymore. The LAPD responded that they did not show Gene any photo. Of course, people had Gene's back with this one. Besides, Diddy has been involved in a lot of shady stuff before and until now. Some fans pointed out important events that would pin Diddy even more as the person behind Big's death. First off, the big clue that people are always talking about is the fact that Diddy rode in a separate car on that night when he's always riding with Big most of the time. Another hint is the fact that Diddy's car was already parked while waiting for Biggie to pull up. Does he know that Big would not be able to run past that light because something bad is about to happen? Apparently, these are just the important details that led to Big's death. But Gene's got more to say because he wrote a book about everything that happened during that night. He even wrote all the things that would connect Diddy to the scene. He even got a publishing contract for that. Well, in Diddy's attempt to stop Gene's story from coming out of the world, he contacted the same publishing company to write and publish his book. He was trying so hard to stop Gene, and that says a lot. If he's not guilty of anything, it should not bother him in the first place. Puff's attempt was actually successful as he was able to stop the publishing of Gene's story. Valletta actually exposed Puff and said that she's not comfortable with Biggie getting close with Puffy in the first place. In a book that Valletta wrote about her son, Biggie, she stated, "The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and a mentor for about $25,000. That's the amount Puffy lured my son with. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then as a 19-year-old. Remember that he came from a poor family and grew up in a rough neighborhood. That is why it is understandable that he took that. The thing is that Diddy knew about his life and he took advantage of that just so he can get Biggie on his side. If that's the case, Puffy must have been planning this for quite a long time." Gene also believed that racism played a huge role as to why the publishing of his book was delayed. He even had to deal with multiple legal struggles just to get his book published. To think that he went through all that just because Diddy was trying to stop him from exposing what he did. But even though he's not behind bars and not serving for what he did to Big and to all the other people that he must have harmed along the way to get to where he is right now, it would not change people's perspective of him. They know what he's capable of doing, and if only there is someone bigger than him that would step up, he would certainly be dragged down. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out these videos.